Racing to the 2025 Kentucky Derby, and this time we go to the Bluegrass Stakes. It's Keeneland racing as it was meant to be. The Lexington Stakes, all part of a big day of racing at Keeneland, and they're going to be for 3-year-old colts going 1 1/16 Saturday, April the 12th. And Keeneland racing week number 2 of the meet for the spring meet, and Kentucky Derby prep season continues. Points awarded for the top 5 finishers, 20 points for the winner, 10, 6, 4, and 2. Now, mainly this is sometimes a last chance for horses to get Kentucky Derby points, but as far as I know, some of these horses are starting to think Preakness, horses like Praetor and Hypnus and Gosger. But let's take a look at the Lexington. Historically, since 1980, we've had 39 Kentucky Derby runners come out of the Lexington Stakes. We've had 2 winners, and the most famous of them all was D. Wayne Lucas, the coach, getting the job done with Charismatic in 1999. In 2024, we did not have any starters from the Lexington Stakes go to the Kentucky Derby. Again, it's starting to be more of a prep for the Preakness Stakes. Let's take a look at the field. It has been drawn, a 9-horse field led by Hard as Life. He was 6th in the Leonada Stakes at Turfway Park. He's going to go from synthetic to dirt. Bracket Buster makes his debut in 2025. He did run 5th in the Street Scent Stakes last year at Churchill Downs. Now, Bullard, he ships in from out west. He won the Bob Hope Stakes. He lost some training time. He got the fever about a month ago, so he's trying to get back on track for trainer Michael McCarthy. Rolando, a Gulfstream Park Stakes winner, the Hutchinson Stakes. He won a nice race, and Rolando also has several races at 7 furlongs, long sprint races that he's run well in. Native runner, 2 straight wins at the fairgrounds for trainer Ken McPeak. Gosger, an impressive maiden winner at Gulfstream Park, ships up to Keeneland. Praetor could be the favorite in the race. He's trained by Chad Brown, won an allowance race at Gulfstream. He defeated Sovereignty last year in New York. Then you've got Hypnus, a fairgrounds winner for Ken McPeak, and Touchy, 3rd in the Sunland Derby, ran in the Turfway Preview on the Turfway Synthetic. It's a good mix of horses with stakes experience. Bracket Buster making his 2025 debut. Some lightly raced maiden winners in Gosger and Hypnus. So let's see what happens here in this race. Bullard, I think, is going to be one to watch, stretching out to 1 1/16, but shipping in from the West Coast. Let's take a look at the race replays. Let's start off with Gosger. Let's go back to his maiden race. He defeated Pitkin, who I think is going to be a nice horse. Some key races in Gosger's running lines. He wins this maiden race. He's got a nice pedigree, and Gosger's the type of late developing horse. He's got a long series of workouts since that maiden win. Seems to be primed to run a big race here in the Lexington Stakes. Now, another one to watch is Praetor. Let's go back to Gulfstream Park. He was bet down this day. Praetor making his 2025 debut. Another one with good company lines. He defeated Sovereignty last year. He's trained by Chad Brown. He's got a good pedigree. I think they're thinking Preakness Stakes if all goes well here in the Lexington Stakes. Now, Hypnus, going back to his maiden win at the fairgrounds, this was a big win in the slop, winning at a route, first time out, 2 turns. Then he went up in class. He last ran in the Louisiana Derby. He ran at Oaklawn Park. I think this is a good class drop for Hypnus to get back into similar type horses. And his maiden win was a powerful win. It would not surprise me to see him win this race. Now, Rolando, he had a nice win in the Hutchinson, defeated, I think, a nice runner in Multiverse. Rolando ships up from Florida. We'll be able to see how the Florida form does with some of the Oaklawn form and the fairgrounds form in this race. But Rolando stretching out from that Hutchinson Stakes win. Now, Touchy, another one with some class, 2nd in the Turfway Preview. Let's watch this race. He saved some ground on the inside, briefly took the lead, got passed down the lane, and Wesley Ward trains Touchy. Then he went to Sunland Park. That was a big race. He ran third in the Sunland Derby, did Touchy, and cuts back here in class level. Bullard, he wins the Bob Hope. He ships in from Santa Anita for Michael McCarthy. He's sired by Gunrunner. Long term, I'm not sure if he's a 7 furlong to a mile type horse, or if a mile and a 16th could be a good prep for the Preakness Stakes. Now the 6 furlong pace overall, I'm going to put Rolando on the lead. I think Gosger and Praetor are going to be right behind him. Touchy, I think, is going to come from mid-pack in this type race. Bullard's going to be further back, but once he makes his move, I think he needs to make a decisive move and get near those leaders. So I think pace is going to be tricky. Overall, I think an average pace, but I'm going to put Rolando on the lead as they turn him into the stretch here in the Hutchinson Stakes. The big handicapping questions: Gosger, a nice maiden win, good workouts, going up in class, good pedigree. Praetor, I think, has been working out strongly. Chad Brown does well at Keeneland, and then getting him ready for the Preakness, where he's won a couple of Preaknesses. Rolando, I think, has got the experience, and he's in sharp form right now. So those are some of the questions. How do you handle some of the different shippers in this race? Now, my top selection in the Lexington Stakes for Saturday, I'm going to go with Gosger. I like the fact that he's lightly raced. I think he can sit just off the speed. I think he's got a good pedigree. I'm going to play him in exactas over Praetor and Rolando. The exacta horses here are going to be tough. You can really make the case for 4 or 5 horses to complete that exacta. Bullard's going to take a lot of action, I think, for other contenders to consider for the win. Praetor is going to get a lot of money. Bullard, I liked his races last year as a 2-year-old, his maiden win, and his Bob Hope Stakes win. He's a horse that can come from behind. I think he's another one lightly raced, but improving. Now, the upcoming schedule, we've got the Ashland and the Bluegrass Stakes on Monday and Tuesday this week. Then we go to the Lexington on Saturday. Post positions drawn on April 26th. That's going to be a Saturday opening night at Churchill Downs. Kentucky Oaks on Friday, May 2nd. The Kentucky Derby, the first Saturday in May, May the 3rd this year in 2025. So a busy schedule coming your way. We're going to start talking about all of the 20 horses in the races, some of the Oaks horses here. Remember, we don't need to pick our Derby horses yet. Kentucky Derby Pedigree Show with Jessica Tugwell, Tuesday, April 29th, 7 o'clock Central. You can join us live. We're going to go over all the Kentucky Derby horses. She analyzes horses for the sales. She has a newsletter on pedigrees, so she's pretty familiar with the Kentucky Derby horses. If you can't join us live, you can watch the replay or do both as you're handicapping. Triple Crown Prospectus continues through the Belmont Stakes, 2,000 words every Monday. It's free. Sign up below in the description. It's the last chance for Kentucky Derby points. It's the Lexington Stakes, and the field's starting to come together for the Kentucky Derby. Who do you like in the Lexington Stakes? Share, like, subscribe, support the channel as we get you ready for Triple Crown coverage and the Kentucky Derby. And remember, D. Wayne Lucas always says, people have opinions, horses have the facts.